I'm absolutely sick of it. I'm absolutely sick of this league. I am sick of watching this every single week, every single year. They tried it. They tried it today, didn't they? They tried to rob Real Madrid of this La Liga competition title. Because what was that decision tonight? Can someone explain to me how they can justify that decision? When is enough going to be enough? I am sick and tired of this corruption in this league and this federation, in this organisation that continues to show us every single week in front of our very own eyes. We're not stupid as Real Madrid fans. We're not stupid as fans in general. Because it's obvious what they're trying to do. It's clear to see they do not want Real Madrid to win this La Liga. And that is exactly what happened today. Because Real Madrid 3, Atletico Madrid 2. And we should have been here talking about this result. We should have been here praising Real Madrid and Arbeloa for that performance tonight. Because a lot could have went wrong in this game. Real Madrid went a goal down. Real Madrid had to get back into the game. And then they went a goal down again. And then they also got a man sent off. And they still got the job done. And this is what we have to, just what we should have looked at. But instead, we have to look at what a disgrace this referee is. An absolute disgrace that this man is. And let me just remind you, this is the same referee that sent off Jude Bellingham last season. For saying F off. For saying F off. For people that know football, for people that have played football at a high level or any level. If you swear at a referee, that isn't the end of the world. That doesn't need to be declared war on the players. That isn't a bad thing. Well, it's not a great thing, but it's not something that warrants a red card. So that was last year. And this year, he sent off Fede Valverde for a foul on Alex Baena. Listen, it wasn't a great foul, don't get me wrong. But Fede tried to get the ball. And yes, like I said, it wasn't a great foul, but that isn't anything more than a yellow. And in this game, by the way, this same referee didn't give a second yellow to Cardoso when Brahim was running through on goal, but running towards the defenders, and he was pulling him. A clear second yellow in that first beginning of second half. And he didn't give that one, but he was so quick to give Fede Valverde that red card. Because of the history with Alex Baena, of course. What are we doing here? What is this federation and league? Why do they hate Real Madrid so much? When in the same Barcelona game today, the 1-0 Barcelona win against Rayo, Lamine Yamal could have been sent off for 2 really dirty fouls. 2 really harsh tackles when he was already on a yellow. They should have at least 2 red cards, Barcelona, tonight. Or this afternoon. But that wasn't given. So where is the consistency? Where is the consistency in this terrible organisation of a corruption of a league? But let's just talk about the game itself. Let's talk about Real Madrid's performance in this game. Because like I said before, a lot went wrong in this game. You know, Lookman getting the goal of the evening immediately. Lookman getting the first goal of the evening straight away in that first half. Of course, Real Madrid started decently in the 10 to 15 minutes. But no tracking by Fede Valverde on that goal. Lookman getting in a great little dummy by Giuliano Simeone, of course. And he smashes it in 1-0. Real Madrid again don't have a great record against Atletico Madrid. As we know, the last 3 games at the Bernabeu versus Atletico Madrid has been 1-1. The game against Atletico in the Metropolitano under Xabi Alonso was 5-2 loss. So Real Madrid have to win this game because, of course, Barcelona did win in the afternoon. We'll talk about that in a second. And Real Madrid go back into this game by a penalty on Brahim, which was a clear penalty. Vini Jr. smashes it in. Look, I didn't want him to take the penalty again because I just don't think he's that great at it. Fantastic penalty on this occasion. Real Madrid 1-1. And then Real Madrid got another goal, after a couple of minutes again, where Atletico Madrid just completely faltered in that second half because, terrible by Jimenez just to kind of get pressed and give the ball away there to Fede Valverde. Look, Fede Valverde really pressed that ball high as he always does. But of course, it was 2 silly mistakes. One by the defender and of course was second one by, Jimenez for that goal. So look, Fede Valverde continues his great form. So does Vini Jr. But then, Molina scored arguably the goal of the season. Now let me just remind you, the previous La Liga game for Atletico Madrid, he scored an absolute golazo too. So that's 2 in 2 goals, absolute worldies. Look, Looney could not do anything about that. Look, get 2-2, and of course, right towards the end, Trent Alexander-Arnold comes on, finds Vinny Jr. Vinny Jr. smashes it in for the winner. But then, of course, the red card comes, and then Real Madrid really struggled towards the end. But let's just talk about that Trent assist. Trent Alexander-Arnold didn't start today, of course. Carvajal started in this game. Now, reports came out before the game that Trent Alexander-Arnold actually didn't start due to him being late to training. Arbeloa has implemented that discipline and said, you know what, you're not starting today because of discipline, of course. So then Carvajal came into this game. And look, that was a suicide mission, because I was looking at the team before, and Lookman versus Carvajal in 2026, bro, you might as well call the game there. You might as well finish the game, blow the whistle, ref. But look, Carvajal didn't do amazing today again. He just doesn't look physically able to play at this level against these teams anyway. And of course, the back four was the same. Fran Garcia was again back in the game. Again, Alvaro Correa is not deemed fit. Mbappe and Jude Bellingham was not started straight on the bench today. Pichard continued his start. Everything else was the same. But Real Madrid today showed, in games where they didn't play well, which they haven't done tonight, I don't think there was enough chance creation for this team at all. I thought there was great counter-pressing situations. There were great counter-pressing sequences, should I say, where Real Madrid really did well to press Atletico, but the chance creation, and especially some of the decision-making by Fede, Brahim and Vinny in that final third just wasn't there. So Real Madrid, that's why they went down in that first half and 1-0. They just couldn't create enough chances. Yes, Real Madrid had the ball, but I felt like Pichard didn't have the greatest game today. He didn't look as sharp as he usually is. I do think that's because of fatigue, because that's what 5-6 games in a row that he's now started. So I do think Real Madrid have to look at that as well. But apart from that, I thought Real Madrid are now showing that mentality to get back into that game, because if that was last year, if that was beginning of the season, well, after the Xabi Alonso kind of, lack of form, Real Madrid would have lost that game possibly, or drew that game, especially with the 10 men. But Real Madrid rallied around, and that is, credit to Arbeloa, because he is getting a team spirit down with his team. And yes, I agree that he does, kind of pamper to these players, especially Vinny and Fede and Jude Bellingham and Mbappe and so forth. But Fede and Vinny are massively, delivering on the pitch for Arbeloa. So whether or not we agree with his kind of approach and the way he's done it, is getting the results. And Arbeloa has now beaten Jose Mourinho, he's beaten Guardiola back-to-back, and he's now beaten Diego Simeone at Bernabeu in the Madrid derby. So look, say whatever you want about it. Of course, I had my thoughts on Xabi Alonso, but one thing is for sure, that he's getting the best out of these players, and he's getting good results, of course. That result means that Real Madrid are 4 points clear of Barcelona, because yes, Barcelona did beat Rayo, of course, in the afternoon. Let's just have a bit of a talk about Barcelona. Look, an absolute insane game when it comes to chances for Rayo tonight. And this is what this João Garcia does. He continuously keeps Barcelona in these games. I've said it so many times about this high line. This is such a risk, but that's what Flick wants to do. And what he wants to do is his attackers to get him out of that, difficulties. But also his keeper, João Garcia, is single-handedly keeping Barcelona in this title race and possibly in this Champions League race as well, because he will continue to have to step up the way Courtois has. And it's unbelievable the amount of save that guy does. He's phenomenal as a keeper. Look, like I said before, this wasn't the most fantastic performance from Barcelona. Rayo had more XG in this game. They had more chances created. Lamine Yamal didn't have the greatest game today. He did have a chance to be created in the first half, but apart from that, I thought he should have got sent off for 2 really rash tackles as well. So look, Barcelona got through that game. But look, Rayo's never an easy game. Only Real Madrid, made it really look really easy against them, of course. But my thing is this title race is really hotting up now, and Arbeloa is getting things right, and Flick already is getting things right. So this could be a very, very interesting end to this La Liga season. And of course, it is international break now, so Real Madrid go into this 4 points behind Barcelona. Look, key weeks are ahead. Of course, he's got the Bayern Munich games coming up as well, which I'm going to drop a video about this week. So there's a huge games coming up. Arbeloa is clearly getting something right. So look, let me know your thoughts in the comments, Real Madrid fans. What do you make of that performance? What do you make of that ridiculous red card? Are you as angry as I am about that decision? And of course, Barcelona fans, what do you make of that Real Madrid performance? What do you make of your own performance today? What was missing for you guys today? Because I didn't think you guys looked the greatest tonight. So, of course, any other contracting points, don't forget to leave your comments in the comment section. I reply to every single one of you. And, of course, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, Hala Madrid.